And welcome, folks, to the talk show, Let the Truth Be Told. I'm your host, Pastor David. And, folks, we got a great show today. We're going to talk about Illinois Governor J.B. Pritzker going off to Washington, D.C., and explain why he's a sanctuary city. We're going to talk about the riots that went across the country this weekend and what they really was about. And also, we're going to discuss how you can get a pardon from the White House. So if you ain't got nothing to do, call your friends and let them know you're listening to Let the Truth Be Told Radio. I'm your host, Pastor David. Y'all come on in. Welcome, folks. Thank you. Listen, folks, you're listening to Let the Truth Be Told. I'm your host, Pastor David, folks, and we've been on vacation. I have been, man. I've been enjoying it, but we're about to set off our new location and our new station. So if you ain't got nothing to do, y'all gonna be listening in for what we're about to present to you. But first, let me give all praises to God and my Lord and Savior, Yahshua of Nazareth, for making it possible to be here. And folks, we got to have a conversation. Look, this past weekend and before then, we've been seeing the illegals who have been protesting across the United States of America. And I don't understand how any American citizen who said they love this country would even allow or think that we should let people come into this country illegally. The federal law says that in order to be in this country, when you cross the borders, you have to cross them the right way, and it's a process that you should do. But the Democratic Party has seen a decline in their numbers and actions, and so they're basically looking for new voters, and they wanted to replace Black people. So again, Black people, here we go, dealing with the Democrats who hate our guts, who have been in the forefront of destroying the Black community, who support Planned Parenthood, who are always talking about, well, we rode on abortions. You rode on the fact that you could try to convince women that killing babies is okay. So they really have never been done anything that's been conducive for the Black community. So last week, Governor Pritzker was in Washington, D.C. And just as Brandon Johnson went to Washington, D.C. and made a fool out of himself, J.B. Pritzker has done the same thing. And so today we're going to take him apart. We're going to look at him because there is no reason why that any of these sanctuary state governors should be harboring and aiding and abetting illegal aliens. And that's what we're going to get into. But first, let me get my panel member up. Hey, Doc, how you doing?
Hey, good to see you.
Good. Let me get Randy in. Where you at, Randy? Randy, you there?
I am. Good morning.
And folks,
Good
this is
evening.
Mr.
Good afternoon. Wherever you are in the world.
All of the days. It's 5 o'clock somewhere, right?
Exactly. Wherever you are in the world.
Well, folks,
How
this
y'all
is
doing? How y'all doing?
Randy. Tell the folks a little bit about yourself. I have you got your own show on the network.
Yes. Thank you, Pastor David. So I'm Randy Perham. I am the host of the Perham and Associates show right here on Let the Truth Be Told Network. I am down here in Austin, Texas. I'm in politics. I'm a political consultant and manage campaigns, federal campaigns. Got two right now that I'm dealing with. And other than that, I am on a state Republican executive committee for the state of Texas, or the Republican Party of Texas. And getting it in. So appreciate y'all
Nice.
having me on
Welcome,
today.
my brother.
Thank you,
Now,
thank you. Oh, I'm a retired Army as well, so we're gonna get into that later, though.
and
Well,
man,
thank you for
thank you
your
for your
service.
service.
Thank
That
you,
is
thank you, thank you.
awesome. Yes.
Listen,
Yes.
guys. Okay, so this weekend it was the protest all over across the country.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and I'm sending a message to the black people across this country. We ain't got no business fooling around marching for the illegals, because see, what happened is the Democratic Party, who owns Black Lives Matter, who when they stole all that money, they went undercover. So when we see these type of protests that's being led, that's who are leading it. And they're paid agitators. So all of a sudden, you go from having illegals to march against the federal government. How does that even sound? Randy, what's your thoughts on that, man? That's sort of crazy, isn't it?
The operative word there, Pastor David, is they're paid. They're paid to do it.
Yep.
They don't believe in the causes that they're fighting for themselves. If you gotta be paid to go do something, then you don't believe in it. So it goes to show how the fallacious argument that they try to present. And you got all these corporations that's involved. You got the Soros Foundation. You got
Mhm.
Black Lives Matter, as you mentioned, Antifa. You got all these groups that they themselves won't show up to these places. So they're going to write checks and cut checks, and people are. It's hard times right now for a lot of people. So they're going to write.
Yeah.
They're going to say, hey, you know what? I take $25 and go stand outside somewhere in front of a building and hold up a sign. Sure, I do that. I got nothing else better to do with my day. So, and that's the problem that we're having. When the federal government steps in and actually cuts off the funding source, then you won't have these shenanigans going on. So that's what we need to take it to. Cut it off at the head. So
Doc?
that's
Well, hey, Randy, how's it going?
hi, doctor.
Again,
How
thank
you
you for
doing?
your service
Thank you.
and being
Appreciate
on the
it.
show. Well,
Absolutely.
here's the thing. With No Kings, I actually did a little bit of investigative research on my own show. And there's over 60 companies, well over 60
Mm-hmm.
companies that are just supporting that organization alone. So that's where some of the money's coming from. It's also coming from Walmart. The heiress of Walmart, she's also donated money to this cause. Planned Parenthood is on there. The ACLU is on there. And some of those organizations actually do get government funding, which they're circumventing to places like No Kings and also funding. So this is a lot bigger than what a lot of people are seeing. I was also talking about the Bilderberg Group on my show this morning. And so some of these organizations are tied into the Bilderberg Group, right? And they're talking about depopulation and migration. That was their theme talk for this year. That was just one of the topics that they discussed. Last year was warfare. The year before, they really focused on AI. So what we see happening right now isn't organic. It's
No.
systematic. And I need people to realize that it's larger than our federal government. It's the relationships that certain people in our federal government have, and they're carrying these things out through organizations like No Kings.
Yeah.
And then let's talk about the No Kings, okay? That is absurd. It really is. And to the American people and patriots across this country, we should be offended. You guys like Randy have put his life on the line for this country, went off to service and served this country well. There's others who have done the same thing. We have been across this world fighting for democracy and freedoms, and yet we got a Democratic Party in here trying to slave the American people and patriots across this country. That doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah.
So
Look, Jamie Raskin was on their stage speaking at their event. Jamie Raskin, he's a sitting congressman.
he should be those are violations of congressional rules. They should not be allowed to take a side such as that, man. I think first and foremost, it is about the American people.
Yeah.
And right and wrong. If you came here illegally, this is what I hated the most about the marches, especially the black people. Black people, see, we was almost replaced until Donald Trump got into office.
Yeah.
Because had they stole another election, this world would have been in super chaos right now. There would have been some type of civil unrest, that's for sure.
Yeah.
But black people have to realize that we have gotten a reprieve. President Trump done stopped all this foolishness, and now we need to back up and unify ourselves and rebuild our community, because in the next 3 to 4 years, if the black community has not been revised, if somebody else gets in there that's not going to allow black people to become independent, we got a problem, guys.
Yep.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. You're not wrong.
Pastor David, if I may, on Saturday, it was the Army's 250th birthday.
Yes.
And I salute my fellow brothers and sisters in arms out there that serve past and present. And, the one thing that made me so offended by these marches, these King's Day marches, is that, it was like you couldn't pick any other day. You knew that the Army's birthday was coming up. So you tried to overshadow, something that was patriotic, something that signified the American founding itself. And so I just take great offense to that, and I want to put that out there, And so it's just crazy to me that they don't even have the wherewithal to even think about those kind of things. They're just about their selfish causes, which once again goes back to they have to be paid to care about it. So just want to throw that out.
And members of Congress supported this. It wasn't just Jamie Raskin. He spoke at it, but there were other members of Congress. I think her name was Stansbury. She actually grandstanded during the governor's hearing. Talking about no kings. I was like, oh, ma'am, I got your number. I know who you support and who you don't. And at that moment, it was like, okay, I know which side you stand on. You don't stand on the side of America, period.
Well, to the American people and patriots across this country, we are getting a clear view of who our enemies, because the enemy is within.
Yeah, unfortunately.
A lot of people will be like, well, Pastor, you conservative. Well, I think every black person in this country was conservative at one time, because we believe in God, we believe in family, we believe in the country, we believe in working for what you want. All of those things are conservative ideas. It's the Democrats, and that's what I keep trying to tell black people. Black people run around talking about, oh, the old orange head, this and that. If black people get another I would say another 4 years of the Democrat will be completely annihilated, because they don't have our best interests at hand. So we're just at a point right now where I just think that if black people don't wake up, we're going to be out of here. Now, I got a clip I want to play, because the riots, they talked about this not being, not planned. They, just like Randy, you said, they planned it on the Army's birthday. They planned it against Trump. It was his birthday celebration. And for them to use illegals and then to shift the illegal, because, they went from when the illegals first burned up last week, they was all out there in Venezuela. Now, guys, tell me something. How is it that you in this country and you raising hell and you waving a Venezuela flag? Why don't you go home? Your thoughts on that, man? I don't understand that.
Well, I thought it was horrible, because I actually grew up in California, Southern California to be exact. I grew up in Garden Grove, about 45 minutes south of LA. And so to see people waving the Mexican flag like that was very disrespectful, not only to our country, but to Mexican citizens that did migrate here legally, not illegally, but legally. I grew up with some of those children. I'm in my 50s. And to see them trying to, stage the flag as they've conquered America, I was like, big mistake. Yes. That's a huge mistake, because now everybody's like, nope, we do not support any of you. So whatever your cause was, thank you for being honest about wanting to conquer our country, because now we know you are not for us.
Your Randy's thoughts, Randy.
Dr. Uh, Dr. Nichols, I'm taking it back. You say you're in your 50s. I'm sitting here thinking you was in your 30s.
No.
Wow.
Oh boy, look at that smile. Look at that smile.
It blew my mind just now. It just blew my mind. But you're absolutely right, Doctor. I lived overseas for many years, and I served 3 tours in Iraq and been around the Middle East. And so, when another country comes into your country waving a flag of their country, that's called an invasion. And typically, with an invasion, you do something about that. You take them out because that's they're considered an enemy. So I'm surprised the United States doesn't have that kind of mentality. They used to. They used to. You would not be you would not walk down the street and see other countries' flags flying off of people's porches. Exactly. That would be taken down. They would be drugged out and beaten and tarred and feathered. So we kind of lost our sense of pride in our own country by allowing other countries to fly the flags. Now, if you have it in your house or something like that, fine, cool, whatever. But to participate in demonstrations and protests, waving another country's flag, I consider that to be an invasion. I consider that to be a act of aggression towards our country, and that's just the way I see things. So it's crazy, and we should bring that up to our elected officials next time we see them. What are you doing about that?
Usually when I grew up in California, the only time you really see the Mexican flag is during Cinco de Mayo. And then during when they would celebrate their Day of Liberation. Those are the 2 times a year you would actually see their flags flown in respect. But they also always had the American flag present.
But that's the whole thing of it is, and it shouldn't matter whether you're a Republican or a Democrat or Green Party. We all are American citizens, and American citizens should be first. We shouldn't have anybody over here burning, and Maxine Waters need to go to hell. She's going to hell anyway, but she need to go there a lot quicker because I'm so sick of her. She does not represent the Black community. These old hanks still walking around. They all that old stupid stuff, man. That's the type of representation, the reason why the Black community is not respected. People respect you on your leadership. Look how the world changed when President Trump got in. China done made deals. Everybody done fell back in line because we are the #1 superpower in the world. Look how it was when Joe Biden. China was flying balloons over here. They was bringing fentanyl in. Joe was getting paid. Barack Obama was auto-signing and changing laws for the homosexuals and transgenders. Our country was in a hell of a shape. The fake COVID. So people tend to forget about that. And those are the things we need to be focusing on, how we went all the way from the left. Now we're at a different place and our country is coming back. This is what we needed. President Trump was what we needed. We're seeing it every day. But when we see what the Democrats have done, they paid for this invasion. They paid for it. They gave them taxpayer dollars to invade our country. And I'm trying to get people pissed off today because I am. I'm so sick of it. This past weekend, we had all these people sitting up here marching in our country. If you love it so much, go back home. If you're waving the flag over here, you need to just go back home to where you came from.
Amen.
So, but it's sad when we look at what's happening because the Democratic Party has lost their way, and they're trying to figure out a way how to get another voting base so that they can get back in office. That's what this is about.
Yeah,
so
I think they're trying to overwhelm the system, though, to get amnesty. And that's the thing. No more amnesty. I think President Trump needs to just shut the border down administratively, right? Nobody else comes in. No more H-1 visas, no more chain migration, no more anybody. Physically, you can get turned around, but administratively, even if you get past the border, we're not taking anybody right now. We're closed. The shop's closed. That's closed. And just keep people out.
I'm going to play a clip, man, because I think that, I like to do this so people can see the receipts of what we're talking about.
Yeah.
The president said yesterday that paid insurrectionists were behind or were involved in the protests in Los Angeles. Does the White House have any more details about who they believe is paying these protesters?
The president spoke about this last night when he returned from Fort Bragg, because frankly the president has a lot of common sense. And if you look at some of the imagery that we have received from the Department of Homeland Security and ICE and law enforcement who are on the ground, you will see boxes and boxes of very professionalized masks and rioting equipment being dropped off for these protesters. So it's a good question the president is raising, and one we are looking into, about who is funding these insurrectionists and these rioters and these protesters and these illegal criminals. And I have updates for you on the numbers, by the way. Since June 6th, there have been 330 illegal aliens that have been arrested as part of these riots in Los Angeles. 113 of those illegal aliens had prior criminal convictions. And overall, and this includes arrests of American citizens, there's been 157 people arrested for assault and obstruction-related charges, including the attempted murder of a police officer with a Molotov cocktail. So who is funding these illegal aliens who are coming in with this very professional riot gear? It's a question everyone in this room who cares about truth should be asking. And we encourage your help in trying to get to the bottom of that question. Indita.
Thank you, Caroline. About Elon Musk, he issued an apology this morning. Has the president accepted the apology, or does he think it's too little too late?
The president acknowledged the statement that Elon put out this morning, and he is appreciative of it, and we are continuing to focus on the business of the American people.
Now, guys, I'm going to remove that. Now, your thoughts on that? That's just exactly what we was talking about.
Yeah.
They're funding it. American citizens are going against other American citizens. I just don't understand that point.
But that's the point.
Exactly. I was just going to say that's the point. And they have, and what the numbers, the stats that she just threw out there about the number of illegals that was arrested during these protests, it speaks volumes to the fact that they're self-selecting to be removed. so yes. Hey, you got all these people getting rounded up, and they're now getting once again self-deported, self-selected for deportation. It goes to show that the American people were not actually behind this, because then how come there was not 300 or so American citizens arrested? It was 300 or so illegal immigrants that were arrested. So it's all it was a stupid.
It's a plan. It's ridiculous. Doc, go ahead.
Well, some of them, of those 300, were actually, given a slap on the wrist, and they were returned to the streets. Yeah. Those are the ones that we're not talking about. And see, a lot of this has come behind. They're like, they're going into schools and churches, and I want to see some video. Stop telling me what you think you've heard, because a lie travels around the world twice and nobody knows what's happened. I want proof. Stop sending me your sob stories, because nobody feels sorry for you breaking the law. Nobody feels sorry for you coming over here illegally, when we have all sorts of ways that you can get your citizenship legally in this country, outside of just marrying somebody. So your sob stories don't work anymore. They just don't work. You need to go home. Like I say, get off the soil.
But that's the whole thing about it to me, man. How is it that we continue? And here in Illinois, we got a governor that has used taxpayers' money to hide and obey these illegals. Now, he was just in Congress, okay? Just like Brandon No Brain Johnson was there, and he made a fool of himself. and the sad thing of it is that they don't answer no questions, and they continue to try to talk crap even though they're guilty. I'm gonna play this clip of this is J.B. Pritzker, who went to Congress talking about the sanctuary cities.
Light yields back, Chair, and I recognize Mr. Donalds from Florida.
Thank you, Chairman. To piggyback off my colleague, Governor Pritzker, how much does the state of Illinois spend on illegal immigration every year?
Again, illegal immigration, that's a federal responsibility. They could tell how much is wasted as a result of their failures.
Governor, don't you keep track of how many people are on your Medicaid rolls, how many people who are illegal immigrants in the state of Illinois who are getting actually benefits in your state? Doesn't your government keep track of that?
They don't get Medicaid in Illinois or any state as far as I know.
Governor Pritzker, you do not keep track of any public service dollars in the state of Illinois that goes to illegal immigrants or goes to people in your state who are not legal residents of the United States and of the state of Illinois. You don't keep track of that.
We absolutely keep track of our budget. We're very closely, and in fact, it's been balanced for 7 years in a row, unlike.
Now, hold up, guys. Now, your thoughts on this? Because, see,
I had to come away from my microphone. Oh, my goodness. Y'all just asked for $1.7 billion because you said you had a shortfall. Just a couple months ago.
You remember the shout out? Yep.
What? Okay.
What's your thoughts on this, Randy? Because this guy, he's talking out of both ends of his mouth. When the DEI shut down that money, remember, Doc, when he said, we are not going to be able to facilitate the people on Medicaid. They're going to lose Medicaid and all this Social Security and all of that. But what they was talking about, the American citizens didn't have nothing to worry about. It was the illegals who are on the Medicaid rolls, just like Donald's is saying. It's the illegals who are getting the houses. That's why they did the Doge, and we found out about that. To the American people, we need to be up in arms about this, especially here in Chicago, man. People leaving Chicago in droves, man, and that's what they want because that's what the replacements are.
Republican before me, yeah.
You know, it's interesting. I noticed that in the state of.
Go ahead, Randy.
No, I was just going to say you're absolutely right, and it's crazy that how he answered the question without answering the question. He kept dancing around it. So I'd be like, if I was Byron Donalds, I'd be like, oh, so what you're saying is we need to subpoena your entire federal your entire federal government. Yes, thanks. And I'll just shut it down from there.
Yep, exactly.
Absolutely. It was ridiculous. Like he was trying to shift blame to the federal government. It's like, well, the federal
That's what he was doing.
They're just derelict in their duty to send the illegals here. I was like, excuse me, sir. You could have at any point in time not accepted the blood money that was actually in the Inflation Reduction Act for this nonsense. First of all, you didn't have to take it. You did, and you stood proud on it. Stop that.
Yeah.
But see what they're doing, because I'm here in Illinois and I know what they're doing. See, what they did was they stole a bunch of money. See, they got $1.7 billion that was left over for COVID, right? Then that money disappeared once J.B. Pritzker got it, he shot it to Brandon Johnson. Brandon Johnson loses the money. And then when he lost the money, he came back to Chicago and said, you know, we about $1.6 billion in the hole. And the taxpayer got to pick it up. See, the problem is this. When they froze the money that they had stole, they had already got that money stolen already, and they was going to replace it with the federal money. And then tell the taxpayers, y'all got to raise taxes, and that money was cleanly stolen. So now that things are at a halt and things are being investigated, they're not going to be able to pull that money out, because if they do, they're already going to jail. We already know. They should be in prison for what they've done. An audit is going to show exactly where all the money went. And that's what they're fighting like hell for, is because they know that money has got to resurface. Because it's still like $1.7 billion floating around, that the budget in Chicago is a shortfall, and they ain't got that money yet. So that's the problem. Let's listen to some more of this.
Knowing you guys don't really keep track of your money, because I asked your mayor in Chicago similar question about a month ago, and he didn't have an answer. It was quite interesting. I think this might be an Illinois problem. Governor Hochul, in your state, you are spending about roughly $4 billion on illegal immigration. And at the same time, you are actually asking the federal government for $4 billion to finish Penn Station. Don't you think it would be better to stop funding illegal immigrants in your state and actually use those resources to finish Penn Station, as opposed to coming to the federal government for the money?
Penn Station is owned by Amtrak, not by the state, so it's an appropriate use of their dollars, and Donald Trump has agreed to spend upwards of $7 billion. I appreciated that very much. What we spend on immigrants, the immigrants who are here hardworking to live a life and working on our farms and taking care of our parents in nursing homes and taking care of our children, they have been coming here for 400 years. And we don't keep track of individuals based on their status. We make sure that people have services so we don't end up with an unexpected
So essentially what you're telling me is that you keep no track of money that is going to people who are not legal in the United States, resources that are taken away from New Yorkers, resources that are taken away from Illinoisans. You guys do not keep track of any of this.
You know what's really challenging is that many people came here with legal status. I mean, temporary protective status, 300,000.
Do you
all of a sudden they wake up one day and it's
do you
gone.
go along with the strategy from the Biden administration, which massively expanded immigration protocols that overwhelmed your city and overwhelmed your state? Do you agree with that?
We call for secure borders. We call for this body to
I
do
never
its
remember
job.
you calling for secure borders at
No,
all, Governor
we
Hochul.
certainly have.
That
We
doesn't
certainly
sound
have.
like him to my memory.
Many conversations I had with the White House. And we asked for federal resources. I mean, you're putting a federal problem on our laps. And you know what? It gets old after a while. I wish you would just do your job.
If your party actually would
pass
do the job of
meaningful
securing the nation the way President Trump has now had to do twice, we wouldn't be in this predicament. Wouldn't you agree? Do you agree or disagree? That's
okay, y'all guys. Y'all got some comments on it
Okay.
right now.
Look, it's states' rights when it's convenient. You know what I'm
Yep.
saying? You go along with states' rights when it's convenient. And I'm not putting this off on just the Democrats. The Republicans do it too when it's
It's the truth.
convenient.
But you see it though. It's right here.
But what she did was she tried to turn it off, put it off, and say, "Well, it's on you." No, ma'am. You stood up there real proud. You actually have an executive order number 1 based on illegal immigration to basically turn out criminals so they're not sitting in the jails, right?
Mhm.
You did that. You stood there and said, "We are a proud sanctuary state." Don't get me started with this one. Don't get me started with that one.
Go ahead, Randy.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. I keep asking, where's my due process? They be talking about, the illegal immigrants are they get due process. I'm like, okay, that's fine, but where's my due process? They're like, what are you talking about? You're an American citizen. You don't need due process. No, I do need due process because number one, when they crossed that border, they broke a law. That's number one. That was the first law that they broke. So every illegal is a criminal.
Yes, exactly. Yes.
So we missed me with that. So number two, my due process, if they're not legal residents in the United States, they're utilizing my resources. They're utilizing my tax dollars for their benefit. They're not eligible to vote. They're not eligible to serve on jury duty and everything else. So how are you walking around doing everything that I'm entitled to do, but you have no obligation to pay the taxes and everything? No, my due process is violated, ladies and gentlemen. And I want reparations. I want justice from my American government. There you go.
We gonna deal with some reparations, boy.
Hey, look. y'all want to play this game? Fine, we can play this game. Right. But at the end of the day, you're talking about Randy, you owe the IRS. Now the IRS owes me. How about that? Because you have been ripping me off. You've been ripping me off for the last 40 years that I've been working. So, miss me. So,
when she said to go back 400 years, I was like, ma'am. Oh, you need to stop trying to call me an illegal immigrant. I know you did not.
That's what she was doing.
Like, I want to go. We're not illegal immigrants. We were brought. Some of us were brought here. Some of us were already here and then got mixed up into the enslavement just because of the color of our skin.
Yes,
and just thrown into that Negro. That's why it says Negro and mulatto in our congressional documents. It's documented. Okay, there are laws written that say Negro and mulatto.
Yep. But see, that's the reason why the critical race theory should have been thrown out, because critical race was erasing history. Yes. They were trying to erase the Civil War, slavery. They wanted all of that gone, and they wanted to pick it up when Barack Obama became the president. See, people don't even know that
LGBTQ in there,
right? And see, people in our country, especially black people. See, black people, we got duped with Barack Obama. Barack Obama's mission was to introduce LGBTQ on us and then put them in positions in DC, different places. Because you see, when Joe Biden got elected, they were already in positions to start doing what they did. Peter Booty Woody, whatever his name was, transportation. Had no
I know who he is.
He had no experience at all. Then wait a minute, for real now. Now look at the guy that was the energy secretary with the red dress and the red lipstick and a bald head, who was stealing people luggage at the airport.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the LGBT, and I said this, and I have nothing against them, but I said that when COVID came, I told people, I said, oh, no, man, COVID is only a cover to introduce transgenderism. And people are like, oh, no, Pastor, you just being homophobic. No. I said, no, man, I'm telling you. And as it unfolded, that's what it did. Because when Joe got in, Joe was like, hey, baby. And, man, you start seeing gay stuff, man, all the commercials in the schools, forcing it on our children. Black Lives Matter got rich off people talking about, we Black Lives Matter, but you don't give a damn about black people. I mean, that was what we saw in the last 4 years could have been the end of this country. It really could have been.
Oh, yeah.
Because at some point, lucky they was in control because it was a lot of militias. A lot of militias who are still around who would have had to go down because they weren't going to let the homosexuals take this country. They just weren't going to do it.
And they've been real quiet this month. I don't know about y'all, but I haven't seen a lot of pride flags and stuff. I mean, I've seen them here and there, but not as loud as they were when Biden was in.
Yeah,
I've seen like one advertisement for a parade maybe next weekend, not even this weekend, like toward the end of the month. Because I'm like, oh, because y'all know
they had the whole month.
They ain't putting up with it, and it's not people that look like us.
No,
not us. You know what I'm saying? It'll be some of us, but yeah, people that don't look like us. I wish I wish you would step out in the street.
And that's what I be trying to tell people. See, people don't really understand what happened to us. We was about to be forced into a whole new culture, a whole new lifestyle that we was going to have to accept. And that right there, because what really did it for me was when it was a parade in San Francisco and a man was completely naked, but he had a sock on his penis and kids were out there.
Yes, that was disgusting. Like, really? Gross.
But
nobody wants to see that, not even in the house.
Man, look. What did Jesus say? Let those who mislead the children be thrown into the lake with a millstone tied around their neck.
He said, with a milestone around your neck. If you harm one of these little ones, it'd be better for you to have a milestone around your neck and thrown into the sea.
Yes,
my goodness.
But see, that mindset was that's what Barack Obama brought to the table. And that's why he loved black people to see. But see, black people don't woke up now. It took us a minute.
Yeah.
Now, those who didn't know, they found out, but it took them a minute to find out. But I'm just hoping that we can unify now so it's not too late, because they brought that in, and then they brought the illegals in was the final punch to knock us out and take over. Now, the Hispanics could say, well, no, we don't go along with it. Yes, you did, because that gave you the numbers that you needed to be second in control politically.
Yeah.
See, black people are looking at that, But, let me pay a little bit more of this Pritzker thing, man. And
the nation's borders is the job of the president of the United States. President Trump has done that job twice now.
Well,
and previous Democrat presidents have not done that job. Wouldn't you agree with that?
this has been a problem that's been in place since I was a young staffer here on Capitol Hill. We worked on immigration, and Ronald Reagan signed amnesty for 3 million people.
It's interesting you bring up Reagan's amnesty in '86. Part of that deal was to actually build border wall and secure it, but the Democrat Party refuses to build border wall. You oppose it every single time. Is that your position? Do you now support border walls?
There has been many times when bipartisan legislation is presented to this body and people just walk away from it. They refuse to do the hard work of governing like governors like us have to do every single day. When I leave here, I'm going to go home and govern a state. I'm not going to tweet about this experience because I have too much work to do taking care of New Yorkers. And
you're really not doing a good job, Governor Hochul, because a lot of New Yorkers are actually coming into my state. In Florida, many of them, they come all the time because they actually want to come to a state that is well run, that protects citizens, does not allow illegal aliens to victimize citizens like they are victimized in the state of New York, like they are victimized in the state of Illinois, like they are victimized in the state of Minnesota. They choose states like Florida and Texas to find safer places to live and raise their families. Hold on, Governor Hochul. We've had enough time.
Rates are much
Governor
lower
Walz,
than
you've been sitting over there pretty quiet. I got a question for you.
I love to talk. Thank you, Congressman.
Fair enough. You said earlier that the ICE agents under the orders of President Trump are a modern-day Gestapo. Do you realize how disgusting a phrase that is, considering the history of Nazi Germany? Would you like to recant that statement?
What I said, Congressman, and I have a long history of supporting law enforcement, I said President Trump was using them as his modern-day Gestapo, not identifying who you are, coming up in unmarked vans, taking people away and giving...
Is it the responsibility of ICE to actually deport illegal aliens in the United States who are here? Isn't that their responsibility?
Yes, it is, Congressman, except that the
Ain't no
Constitution is
exception.
not an inconvenience. It's not an either-or.
Nobody's...
Okay, y'all. What y'all think about Tim Walz? Go ahead.
He's conflating the issue. And this is what Democrats do. They cry foul, though, when somebody's trying to break into their house. They were the first ones to call the police and like, oh my gosh, I can't believe somebody's at my front door. Right.
Mm-hmm.
But he's conflating the issue. He knows what he's done. He knows he's created a straw man out of ICE agents all over this country by making that statement, because he's trying to basically ensue an uprising by his rhetoric. He knows exactly what he's doing.
Randy?
Yeah, you're absolutely right, Doc. And the other thing is about Tampon Tim there is that he has this imaginary, he's insulated, okay? You know, he's not out there in the streets with his people. So he doesn't really know what it's like to have to deal with these things. All he does is sit back in his conclave and and said is sheltered in. And I would say, hey, so Tim, you feel so strongly about this. Open up your doors, welcome in the illegals into your house, and let them live. You got a nice mansion, you got properties, you know, let them come there, and then lead by example. Lead by example. If you're so adamant that you're doing the right thing and that we're the Gestapo and all that, then show us lead by example. Let them to your house and see how you feel at the end of the day. They be saying stuff and they don't even believe it themselves until you hold their feet to the fire of it. Then you'll know where their true colors lie.
Man, I hate the fact that they made George Floyd a martyr because the name Tampon Tim came from the fact that he wants to have tampon machines in the boys' bathrooms,
right,
for the girls who say they want to be men.
Yeah.
See, the American people, they need to be aware of what's going on with these people, man. These people are not right in the head, man.
They
Pastor David, say it again. Say it one more time for the people in the back. They didn't hear you. He wants to do what?
They're not right in the head with their thinking, man. This is not the common sense that you would think. He's the governor of a state, and his first priority is to make sure that the American citizens are taken care of. But yet he's lying, he's stealing, he's giving money to illegals, putting them on Medicaid, putting them on Medicare. See, this is the type of leadership that I don't see how anybody, an American citizen, can support that. We're going to play a little bit more of that. I got another one I'm going to play. I just got a little J.B. Pritzker stuff.
Decides how many members each state gets in the U.S. House of Representatives. Year after year, tens of thousands.
Now, to the American people and patriots across this country, I'm going to stop this and I'm going to tell you right now, this is the reason, what you're finna hear now, this is the reason why the illegals were brought here in this country.
The census decides how many members each state gets in the U.S. House of Representatives. Year after year, tens of thousands of U.S. citizens are fleeing the state of Illinois. It ranks only behind Governor Hochul's New York and Governor Newsom's California. You all are protected and harbored illegal aliens for political purposes. Governor Pritzker, would you support prohibiting illegal aliens from being counted in the census, yes or no?
Your numbers are wrong, sir.
Would you, yes or no?
Your numbers are wrong, sir.
Would you support prohibiting illegal aliens from being counted in the census? Would you? Or is harboring illegal aliens part of the strategy to get more Democrats in Congress?
The governor is a population denier.
Now, y'all thoughts on that?
Well, that's their ploy. They need the numbers in order to get more congressional districts, in order to get more seats. That's the whole point of this situation, is to turn the House and have the majority, where it would be more difficult for people that are Republican or even independent to win in those areas. See, Trump was not supposed to be in office right now.
No.
We are all supposed to be under extreme oppression right now. But I don't, like I said, Republicans, and I do have the Republicans here in Georgia. I am a precinct committee chairman. No, I'm not giving you a pass. Stand up. Grow some stones and take care of this. Nuke this. All right, you have the majority. Shut this down.
Yeah.
Yes. Doc, I don't know what you had this morning. The Wheaties you had, boy. You fired up. I love it though. But she's speaking
yes.
the truth. Go ahead,
Absolutely.
Ray.
Absolutely, yeah. Dr. Nichols, hey, thank you for your service as a precinct chair. I'm a precinct chair as well down here.
Thank you.
Yes, that is the we are the frontline defense for our community. You know, precinct chairs, and a lot of people don't understand what a precinct chair is or what they do and all that. But we are the frontline defense when it comes to electoral matters. And so when you're looking at what these governors are talking about here, you know, and the congressional district, we're actually in talks right now here in Texas. The Texas delegation is looking to do a midterm redistricting of Texas, so we can take advantage of those of the population, if you will, and redraw the maps for more congressional seats. So it's an advantage depending on where you at and who you are. And so typically the census, when the census roll around, you know, every 10 years and on the even numbered decades, that's when they look at the count and say, okay, hey, these are allocated to, you know, these states, you know, how many seats you get, type of thing. The problem is, back in the early 1900s, I want to say it was 1945 or it was 1980. It was somewhere early 1900s. I just put it like that. Y'all can Google this. Congress said we're going to put a cap on how many congressional seats we're going to have. 435. Right. It stayed 435 for the last 80 years because they don't want to expand Congress to match the population. They don't want to do that. And that's why the people of the United States don't have the proper representation as they once did back in the day. So it's going to be advantageous to the American people if they don't count the I guess you could say the illegal immigrants in the sense. It will be advantageous to the American people that they don't count it. And then now you have a true reflection of how many congressional seats should be allocated according to the number of the population in those districts. So that's the I guess you could say the undercurrent conversation right now. And for black Americans, we're in a conundrum because we're mixed into so many. We're so integrated in different cultures and parts of the country that we can't look at it as, okay, we got to have our own representation. We're too integrated. We're 13% of the population. Hispanics already outnumber us by 25%. And they're starting to become the majority in the country over whites. So, you know, that's why we're getting this Whitexican moniker coming out nowadays. It is what it is, you know. And so we have to take a step back and say, okay, we got to get in where we fit in, you know, both on the political spectrum and on the cultural spectrum, and go from there and take the representation that we can get. So it is what it is. It's interesting.
Yeah, and I think it's because they're counting people as residents. You'll hear that terminology. Like I'm always listening to how they refer to these people that are here illegally and they're criminals. How they keep changing their names and patterns. It's like they're undocumented. They're non-citizens. They're this. No, they're here illegally. They're illegal aliens. They are criminals, and that's what you have to call them. Stop calling them residents. See, they call them residents in Massachusetts so they can be counted. They're not residents. They're not citizens. They're illegal aliens. Call them by their name.
Yes. Now, see, this is the thing that I'm talking about. And black people, I want you to hear me now. Chicago is predominantly black. Baltimore, predominantly black. All of these black cities, the reason why we got the problem is because we've allowed bad leadership to run our cities. But black people better understand this, especially here in Chicago. We have the majority and we can vote in who we want to vote in. We don't have to take this mess from anybody. If the black community do not take this opportunity to pull back, but see, we need to focus on ourselves. I'm tired of black people fighting everybody else fights. Okay? That's what the illegal said. Black people, y'all help us. But yet you're raping us. You're taking stuff from us. You're in our communities beating up our kids. Y'all taking resources out the schools. And now that you're getting deported, you're calling us for help. Everybody does us like that.
Yeah.
And my ideology of it is this: if the Black community becomes self-contained, if we quit squandering our money with everybody else and reinvest into our own communities, we could pull up out of this mess, and then people would respect us, and they would come to us in a different manner, because if we have a voting base that's powerful, if we create our own economics, why would we need to have Ching Chong down selling hair in the store? Why would we have to have Alibaba at the station and it's stinking up in the store and all that kind of crap, and they looking at you when you come in? They do not need to be in the Black community. It need to be Black entrepreneurs in these stores. The Black dollar needs to stay in the Black community, and if we focused on that right there, we could pay for our own schools instead of paying for everybody else's schools. We could create our own economic engine. We could have our own ecosystem. We could do all of these things, because then our dollar is so powerful. That's why everybody want our dollar.
But it goes back to representation. You know what I'm saying? If we are not in the seats, and if we are not on the committees to actually say, hey, this is what we need for our community, but see, we're not there because we don't know that that's where the power lies, right? How is this person getting a business license over somebody else who's grown up in the community? And why are you pushing the goal for them to start their business where they have to have, like so many hundreds of dollars of proof of, but you'll give somebody that's fresh in the country, you'll like roll out the red carpet for them and make sure that they have loans, they can get cars, they can get housing. See, that's the injustice right there. And it exists right at the local level. These commissioners and these councilmen and these committee members, it is all the incestuous and infection is there. And it lies at the feet of the Democratic Party. Republicans, I'm not giving you a break, but it does lie at the feet in these certain cities. It lies at the feet of the Democrats.
Well, here in Chicago, and this is why I'm running for mayor of Chicago, I'm offended by the fact that, first of all, as an American citizen, our country should have never been overran.
No.
And I hate the fact that, Brandon Johnson have been sitting there lying to Black people just to get into office. He played the race card against Paul Vallis, who was probably a better candidate. But I'm running for mayor to restore Chicago back to the way it used to be, man. I'm so sick of this, man. I watched my community when I grew up in Chicago was better than, just as good as any white community. We had Black entrepreneurs, Black store owners, Black teachers in the school. All of that, man. And that's what I'm bringing back to Chicago, man. I ain't mad at nobody, but everybody got to get their own, go to your own community. That's what Trump is saying now. If you love your country so much, go back there and do what you're trying to do over here. But more importantly, guys, this is what I hate what Brandon Johnson did. Here in Chicago, we got all these young people. We got all these Black entrepreneurs that need opportunities. See, they want the boule entrepreneurs. See, that's who's running Chicago. It's the Frat brothers and the Soros sisters and all the Soros brothers and all of them.
They don't care about the Black community.
And they don't care about the Black community
at all.
So that's the first thing we have to do is get rid of them house Negroes.
Well, they're not even house Negroes. Half of them aren't. They are not foundational to this country. Let's just get it straight. Their parents came over here after 1965. That's why we have that. Okay, they have no allegiance to this country. They do not care.
Yeah, and that's why they are in the position that they are in now, because they're not foundational. They don't know what it's like to come up in America.
Yes,
as a Black person in these communities, they brought their wealth with them from where they came from, and so or it's inherited wealth. And I have these conversations all the time. It's like there's a there when you say Black people, it's like who are you talking about? Are we talking about ADOS, foundational Blacks, or are we talking about Blacks that just happen to come here? Blacks. So there is
melanated people.
Yeah, there
melanated.
There is a difference.
The sad thing of it is, though, and this is what bothers me the most. I love this country, and I love being Black, and I love growing up in a Black community because I saw all the things our community, just like the white communities.
Yeah.
But what I have a disdain for is the brothers and sisters who call themselves Greeks, and they go off and they got their education on our backs. See, my mom and daddy and them, they didn't have no education, but they made sure that we got proper education through the school system. Okay. So I tell people all the time, you can be an educated fool. And that's what we got right now. We got a lot of educated fools that are holding positions that are gatekeepers, just like the dude on Django, Sam Jackson. Oh, Master done killed Master Dog.
Yeah.
Those are the kind of Negroes that are in position right now.
Yeah. But
And
we're
so
we're the coons.
Yeah, they're there to be paid. They're paid opposition. That's what I call them. They're placeholders. You know, and they are in the Congressional Black Caucus, they are in the NAACP, they are in the Urban League, and they pose as people that are there to assist us. They're not. And there are a lot of us that know that, and we're going to get back into those positions. So, you know, just to put you on alert, individuals that are in there, we're going to unseat you and make sure that you never have a place at the table ever again, because you do not have respect for the community, period.
Exactly.
I'm gonna play a little bit more. Then I got one more video we're gonna play. We're gonna talk about this last video. I think y'all gonna like this. Check this. We're gonna finish JB Pritzker off.
4 years, 5 years, people want to leave the state of Illinois. We lost a congressional seat, as you're well aware. We have the lowest population in the city of Chicago now than in 100 years. People continue to flee Illinois. We have the 5th highest unemployment rate in the country, the 2nd highest property tax rate in the country, the 5th highest illegal immigration population in the country, with over 500,000 illegal immigrants leaving in Illinois. None of that got mentioned before, but that's the reality. And to be honest with you, Governor Pritzker, I wish you didn't have to be here today as my governor.
Half of that is completely false and needs to be corrected, and I will if given the moment to speak. Our population is increasing. We have a higher population.
Wait a minute.
Census that was done in 2020.
Wait a minute. Did y'all hear what he said? He said our population is increasing, and it is with illegal aliens.
I'm telling you, the lawyers prepped them well. They were prepped very well, because I was like, those are attorney responses. Those are not regular people responses.
Yeah, exactly.
Y'all were coached.
Yeah.
Well,
he's an
I'm
attorney.
a paralegal. I can hear it.
Yeah, you can hear that. Because they never answer a direct question.
They don't.
Deny.
They deflected. They deflected off on something else. We can finish them off. Then I'm gonna get to the most favorite one.
Governor.
Governor, you'll
And
have
you
time
served
to
in the
answer that.
legislature. You were part of those policies. We are turning the
Governor,
state around.
We're turning that around. No,
So
you're not.
JB, see how arrogant he is. He know he done broke the law, and he's still acting like he did. He's well within his rights to take the American taxpayer dollars and give it to illegals.
I'm glad that they are all on record saying everything that they have. This is a gift to the Republican Party. If they utilize this right, this is a whole ad.
This is a whole ad.
Oh, ad. Yes.
Yep.
A reel of commercials for the whole cycle.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Run on that.
It'd be crazy.
Yeah, you can run on that and get elected.
But you know who's turning over in that grave right now?
Dr. King.
Chicago? No. Mayor Harold Washington.
Oh,
I'm from Chicago. I'm from Chicago too. You know, born and raised.
Yeah,
born
that's
and raised.
Right. He is, because he created the sanctuary city.
Well, no, he didn't create the sanctuary city. No, Harold Washington actually pushed back. He was actually considered. They called him out to be like, "Are you a closet Republican?" You know, and then all of a sudden
he was very conservative.
Yeah, all of a sudden he had a heart attack. They had to get him out of there.
Let me tell you,
they had to get him out of there.
My grandmother was a conservative Democrat.
Yeah,
it used to be different. There were conservative Democrats.
Yes, there still are. They're just
outspoken.
They're not as outspoken.
No, but you know, when they took away all of those different titles and made it just a Democratic Party, then that's when a lot of conservatives got lost. They just liked the name Democrats. You know what I'm saying? But a lot of them now have awakened and they're turning to be back to what they were, conservatives, and that's what the Republican Party represents. Now,
absolutely.
Over the weekend, there was a fiasco. There was a fiasco at the Operation Push. And I'm so sick and tired to the American people and patriots across this country. We just should be just sick and tired of Jesse Jackson and Al Sharpton. Jesse Jackson still in a wheelchair and still doing bullshit. It just don't make no sense, man. You're in the black community and you say you represent the black community. You get well over $7 million a year. Yeah, Jesse, I done did some homework on you. You get more than $7 million a year. And Jesse Jackson have not put one penny back into the city of Chicago. He has not came out and protested that illegals are here and that they should not be getting the money that black people should be getting. You haven't seen Jesse roll up in a wheelchair to the mic and denounce the illegals who are in this country, who are in the black community raising all sorts of hell. But what I seen over the weekend with the homosexual preacher, Jamal Bryan out of Baltimore, I don't know why his tight pants and his rhetoric is here in Chicago, but it was. And I saw some brothers, and this is why I say some black people are asinine. Straight asinine. And I have to say it because, see, money will get you in a place that you might not want to be in. All money ain't good money, okay? And Jesse, you got one foot on the banana peel and the other one in the grave. And you still getting money and cheating and hating black people because it only showed. Let me play this clip, guys, then we'll talk about it.
The Rainbow Push Coalition is holding its annual People's Conference, encouraging those to fight growing threats to justice and equality. Our Suzanne Lemignot spent the afternoon listening to those attending that conference. She is live for us now from our newsroom. Suzanne.
Marie, top of mind for those attending, diversity, equity, and inclusion, and the fight for corporations to keep it in place.
Just give a round of applause. I think we've never had what we faced here before.
Chief Operating Officer of Rainbow Push Coalition, Yusuf D. Jackson, addresses those gathered for the first day of the organization's annual conference.
I want to say something. Ain't nothing in there but old people. That's it. You don't see
because
no
they're the only people doing this.
Push is dead. Looking at these Geritol crowd coming out of there.
The theme of the organization's People's Conference this year, Call to Action. Jackson's father and founder of the organization, the Reverend Jesse Jackson, was also in attendance. Yusuf Jackson told those gathered the gains made during the civil rights movement are now under threat.
The very executive order that authorized the Civil Rights Act, Donald Trump wrote an executive order to overthrow or to undermine or to rescind.
The title of the opening luncheon at the conference is Rebuilding America Through Coalition.
We're gathered together across race, religion, across ethnicities.
Okay, we know this guy's gay. I'm just gonna say it.
Yeah, he got some sugar in the tank.
He got the sugar in the tank.
Line of loafers? Okay, got it. Saying this in lots of terms.
Yes. Yep.
When you say, see, I never understood it, but see, Jesse's a homosexual. There was rumors about him. He got caught with men and all this and that. It's been out there a long time.
You've never seen his wife, right? He does have a child.
Yeah, they does.
But you've never seen him married. At least I've not.
Well, the apple doesn't fall from the tree. Jesse Jackson Jr. got locked up for stealing money. So that'll tell you, that should tell you that the daddy been begging and stealing money and had something to do with Dr. King getting killed, if you want to know the truth about it.
Absolutely. May I do a book plug real quick on that, Dr.
Go ahead,
Dr.
do that, man.
There's a book out there by a good friend of mine named Vincent E. Ellison, and it's called 25 Lies That the Democrats Tell. Google that, order that book, and everything that you just said, Pastor David, is confirmed in that book. And so, yeah.
What is it
check
called?
It out. It's called 25 Lies That the Democrats Tell. And it's by Vincent E. Ellison. And that's a phenomenal book. And everything you just said, literally, line by line,
it's in there.
It's in that book.
That's because I grew up in Chicago, man.
Me too.
I saw it.
I know that's all too. You know, when Jesse Jackson Jr. He went to my high school when I was a junior. I want to say I was a junior in high school. Him and both of them came actually, and I immediately asked my teacher. I said, "Can I leave?" Because we know you come to the assembly in the gym type of thing.
Yeah.
I said, I'm leaving I said, I don't want to be in here for this. They're talking bullshit. And my teacher's like, he just nodded. He like, go ahead. And I jumped down off the side rail and went out the side door and went, hung out in the music room. So
well,
I didn't want to be there for it. It was
the thing of it is that Jesse got rich off the city of black people.
He did.
He became a millionaire, and the boy Joseph that was there, Budweiser gave him a whole brewery, and he's probably smoked it up and cracked. See, people don't.
And Donald Trump, he gave Jesse Jackson for his $1 million.
He gave Jesse Jackson,
and nothing ever came of it but death and destruction to our community.
Yes,
he used it to destroy us.
Well, see, black people finally done woke up and understood. Once Jesse got his foundation set up, and then he petitions, he get a lot of money from the federal government just to keep that thing running. The Democrats give him a lot of money just to keep it running, to keep a toehold on the black community and keep the older blacks in place to try to tell the young blacks, y'all, Reverend Jackson probably is the payee of your Social Security money, because that's how Operation Breadbasket got started. Was Jesse Jackson had a bunch of old people and he was their payees for their Social Security check. Instead of the check coming to the seniors, the check was coming to Jesse, and he was giving them an allowance, man.
That's sick. But I can see it. I can see it.
And he's been a crook all his life. And it has nothing been good for black people.
Party lines, even.
Criminal.
There are Democrats here and there are Republicans here.
Look at that.
They're across all kinds of economic lines, all together based on common ground, because we want a better society.
The old people.
The Reverend Ira Ackrey from Greater St. John Bible Church in Chicago's Austin neighborhood was among those attending.
In our community, faith leaders are influencers. And
you too old for that nappy hair. Look at that. He too old for that.
Their congregants and people in the community.
I thought it was Brandon Johnson at first.
Participate in protests in this particular climate. If we don't stand together, all of the accomplishments and all of the civil rights.
Okay, so
what accomplishments? This failure. It's been. How do you fail forward? Oh, that's right. You do what you guys have done. Y'all have failed forward.
Yes.
And the more you fail, the more money you're given, because you're using it to oppress people. You're not using it to help people. Not at all. We should be in a much better place as Black Americans.
Well, I'm still trying to figure out what accomplishments. We don't went backwards. But the black community went backwards. That's why I say these kind of Negro preachers right here, the Ira Ackeras who are in power now, who are sucking up on Brandon Johnson, they're giving him money to make these type of statements because the black community is in shambles.
Yeah.
And yet you got the nerve to be on there talking, well, we're trying to fight to keep them from going backwards. Hell, we already backwards.
Yeah, you're fighting to keep us backwards.
That's all.
Yeah, exactly. I was in conversation on Father's Day with a gentleman. It was a very respectable conversation, but we were totally diametrically opposed to each other. And he said, "You a Republican?" And I said, "Yeah." He just turned his nose up and he was just looking at me in disgust. And I said, "What's your problem?" And he was like, "I'm a Democrat." And I said, "Why?" Have you asked yourself why you're doing? He said, "Well, why are you a Republican?" And I said, "Because I don't believe in the shenanigans that the Democrat Party has been pulling us for the last 100 years or so, and I support the Republican economic and domestic policies and foreign policy to some regard." And he just looked at me, and his eyes and I said, "Well, so what policies on the Democrat side do you support?" "Oh, well, Trump is he's a dictator."
There you go.
I said, I don't care about what Trump is. He has nothing to do with why I am who I am. So back to the question, sir. Why are you?
They don't have no reason.
He couldn't.
There's nothing.
Default position was Trump. And I said, what happens when Trump leaves office? You obviously been a Democrat before Trump. What drew you into that? Because I was a Republican long before Trump. Trump was a Democrat when I was a Republican.
Yes, he was.
So like, what are you talking about here? And this is their default position. When they can't explain the policy side of things, or even just the economic, impacts that Democrats have brought on the black community, they default to Trump. And it's like, okay, I tell you what, bro, I'm gonna come back to you in 4 years after Trump is out of office and see if you're still gonna say Trump.
Wait a minute.
No, they always want to. Their default to that is the Republicans are racist. That's their default, and that's the only position that they have. The Republicans are racist. Okay, so it was co-founded by a black man named Frederick Douglass, but the Republican Party is completely racist. Now, I'm not saying that there aren't some people in there that are very interesting within their stance. I'm not going to say that.
Yeah.
But in the Democratic Party, you have that also. So what are you really running? What are you really doing here?
Yeah.
Well, you know, that's just like that clown Jasmine. What her name?
Jasmine Crockett.
Yeah,
gaslighting Crockett. Yes, up in District 20. Gaslighting Crockett.
And then AOC, and then the other one, Omar Ilalapi, or whatever her name is, with the rag on her
Ilhan
head.
Homar.
Yeah, she's not even an American.
Nope, she's
not
Somalian.
a citizen.
Nope, she's naturalized. To our knowledge.
She was that. No, that
married her brother.
I'm just gonna say, that's the one who married her brother.
She is the one that married her brother, and I have that document. I do have those receipts. It's for real. She's got 2 separate marriage certificates. I don't know how she's still sitting in Congress. This is the stuff that burns people up.
Criminal.
This is the stuff that burns people up. It's completely criminal. Her immigration status should be revoked, and she should be deported from the country. Period.
And they should deport her right away. Let's finish off, and then we're gonna get the rest of this.
That we acquired back in the 60s will be rolled back.
Everywhere I go.
Also on the agenda for the first day of the Push Conference, a protest outside Target at 1 South State, led by the Reverend Jamal Bryant. The Atlanta-based pastor spearheaded a national boycott against the retailer after it decided to do away with its diversity, equity, and inclusion policy.
This has been the most effective boycott for black people in 70 years since the Montgomery bus boycott.
Y'all, it's some sugar in that tank. A lot of sugar in that tank.
It's sad how the black community keeps being used to push this, because underneath it, and you said it earlier, Pastor, the undercurrent of this is that whole transgenderism. It's getting behind the LGBTQ community, which is a cult, by the way. So no, we're not getting. Stop using black people for your cause. Stop using the civil rights movement. That was for black people. Yeah, they did march. You know what? And they got what they were marching for, civil rights and voting rights, right? But these riots in the street, the civil unrest, what are you protesting for? Illegal? You're protesting to really support criminal activity. Like, that's what we are. If that's what we are, you got to go. Because we're a nation of laws. Last time I checked. And everybody's got to abide by the laws. You don't have a standard for one group of people and giving them preference and privilege, but that's what you're doing. And you're doing it in our face, and you're going to stop.
Exactly. Dr. Nichols, to your point, and you're absolutely right. Every time there's some kind of civil, social uproar in America, the Democrats always turn to the black folks and say, hey, we need y'all's voice. You know, like, stop appealing to our emotional side of things when y'all have a problem. Y'all don't come to our aid and
no, nobody.
When we got something going on. No, it's like, oh, that's the black community. They need to figure that out because this month's them, and we don't know what to do about it. We're on the outside looking in. That's their excuse. And so I say to them, well, if you're so concerned about the illegal immigrants and their status, why don't you go to the Hispanic community and ask them to get involved? Guess what? They're not. They're gonna be like, no. I say we're not gonna get involved in that because guess what?
Yeah,
we don't want them. We came here the right way. They need to come here the right way too. So they need to go bye. That's what they're gonna tell you. And so
you can't go back to Cesar Chavez. You can't go back to Cesar Chavez because he was a well-known racist and hated black people. So you can't go back. Where's your well? Your well? You don't have one. I can't even say it's dry. You don't have one.
Exactly. And that's the sad part about it. Just like the illegals was here, when they started deporting them, the ones who had businesses, because see, Brandon Johnson gave them money and they opened businesses in the black community. I saw a restaurateur lady come and tell them black people, y'all need to support us. Help us fight back. And I'm sitting there saying, you're a parasite. You in the country illegally, you in our community making money, and now they want to throw your ass out, and now you telling us we need to spend our money with you?
Nope.
See, that's the kind of foolishness that black people have been doing.
Indoctrinated.
Yes.
Yeah. Yep.
Indoctrinated
We got to help
into-
everybody else but ourselves.
But
Put on their
ourselves.
oxygen mask first and don't put yours on at all.
Yeah.
Yeah. Shoot.
Exactly.
So yeah, we can finish this off, man. Then we gotta
Target
get out of here.
Target's share
Now look
was
at this. Look at all them old people.
$145 a share. It's now down to $93 a share.
And Brian says after meeting with Target, he hopes there's a resolution soon. Target told us in a statement they're dedicated to fostering inclusivity for everyone, their team members, guests, and supply partners. Meantime, the Rainbow Push Coalition People's Conference Call to Action takes place through Saturday, June 14th. In the newsroom, Suzanne Lemonnier, CBS News, Chicago.
Now, let me remove that. You see that? You see that sister right there?
Mm-hmm.
They would never give her an anchor job. They give her all the little shitty jobs that come in Chicago. Never. They made her lose weight. She's a friend of mine. They made her jump through all sorts of hoops, but never as a black woman, you'll never see her as an anchor because Chicago is one of the most racist cities in the country, bro. Yep. Well, folks, you know, we getting that time on the wall. Let me get up out of here, man. Listen, it's always a pleasure, Randy. You got to come back, man. I love it, man.
Absolutely. Yes. I love this. Yeah. You know, we got to do it. We got to do it. Yeah, definitely. I would definitely clear off the schedule a little bit to come on here and hang out with y'all. This is a fantastic thing, and I truly appreciate the opportunity.
Well, you know, we promote your show on the network now. You on the network now. Let them know where you at.
Yeah, I'm all over, you know, Rumble, Instagram, YouTube, X, man, you name it, I'm there somewhere. And it's at RPurham, RPURHAM, on all social media platforms. And air Mondays and Fridays when I'm not busy. Mondays and Fridays, noon Central, and I'll be out there, you know, getting it in. I talk to authors, CEOs, political figures, and stuff like that. That's kind of like what my show is based on: current events and the politics of the day with top tier people.
Well, you know, I appreciate it, man. But you know, on this show, we just get down and dirty with it.
Oh yeah, absolutely. We gotta do that.
We throw them punches, boy.
Yeah, I throw the wig off every now and then to get down with y'all.
Well, it's a pleasure to have your show on the network, man, and I look forward to it, man. You guys can find us. Doc, you want to tell them where you can find us at?
Yes, at Let the Truth Be Told network. You will find us on Apple TV, Fire TV, and Roku, along with iOS and Android app, and on the web.
We did get our approval for the iOS today. Did you get the email? So we're done now. And folks, we do have our own network, a Let the Truth Be Told network, and we're about to launch shows who might want to be a part of the network. You can contact me. The number 708-663-5262. We have a lot of space to fill up, and we want this channel to be this whole network where you can find out information. You can find solutions, because we're going to make sure we educate people so they can understand how the society operates. We're going to supply economic opportunities, government bidding, whatever it is that we can do to uplift our Black community. You're going to find that at our network. Your last words, Doc. We got to get out of here.
Yes, well, thank you so much for having me on the show. And I just want to encourage everybody, if you are tired of the Republican and Democratic Party, you can check us out at usaredemptionparty.com. Because like I always like to say, you know what? When you see all these things happening, look up to heaven, for your redemption is drawing near. And again, that's usaredemptionparty.com. I air live on X, Facebook, and YouTube Monday through Friday, 7 to 9 a.m. Eastern.
Thank you, Doc, and we'll be seeing you. Randy, your last words, my friend.
Oh, hey, ladies and gentlemen, you got to wake up and, you know, do your thing and, you know, get others involved. You know, don't just sit on your laurels and say, you know, oh, well, I can do this, I can do this. Talk to your friends, family, neighbors, you know, those that you pass on the street every day, and get them involved. Let them know, hey, have you heard about this? No, let me tell you more. Give me a call and get your community activated, you know, and we can definitely change the trajectory of this country, and that's the number one thing that we need to be doing, is change the trajectory of this country. So I thank you, Pastor David, for having me on today.
I enjoyed it, man.
Appreciate it. Yes, me too.
You're welcome anytime. Blessings. We'll talk soon. Have a great evening.
All right,
folks. I want to thank you for tuning in. It's always a pleasure to bring information and let people get to understand the truth of the matter in the situation that we're in. These are my last words. To the American people and patriots across this country, as we can see all the bad things that the Democratic Party has continued to do, how they've continued to use illegals to create the facade of a voting base that they do not have anymore, and how the Democratic Party continue to use Black people like Jesse Jackson and Jamal Bryant, who will never do nothing for our communities, will get rich off of us. It's time for us to put that behind us. This is an opportunity for Black people to rise up, to get focused, to create wealth in our own communities, to create our own schools. This is the time right here and now, in this very moment, that we will be able to make a change. But first, we must change the leadership that we have. We have to get rid of all these people like Brandon Johnson, J.B. Pritzker. Look how he answered. He made an ass out of the state and the people of the state of Illinois. He should not be governor. He's inefficient to be governor. And when the time comes, Black people, we need to put him out of office, for we are the majority. Because if we don't get him and Brandon Johnson out of office, the state of Illinois will continue to fail, the Black community will die, and we will see what's going on under the cover, that it was the transgenders, the Barack Obamas, the J.B. Pritzkers, the Brandon Johnsons, the Ira Acaras. They all belong to the woke generation, and they don't believe in God. And in saying that, folks, I'm going to get out of here. God bless you. We'll see y'all tomorrow. Y'all have a great evening and enjoy.